So this is a 2006 750i, and we're about to remove everything out of the way here to get started with the valve stem seals. So what I like to do is, first thing first, I like to remove the firewall and the two air filter boxes. So basically these will just pop right out. So once you do that, let me get another light. So once you take those boxes out, we're going to remove these boxes as well. And they're held by torque 20. Just going to push it to the side. Put the nut back in here so we don't lose it. Pry this up so it releases this fan here. Got a clip, and there she is. So here's the torque 20. It's basically got a lever that holds this like this, and this goes through the lever. Just remove that, push the lever over here, push this lever on this one to the side. It's got a sensor on it. I'm not sure what the sensor is, never seen one before. So if anybody knows why there's a sensor in this one, usually I've never seen the 750 Li doesn't have it, but this one does. Anybody knows why it is, please let me know in the comments. And we're going to repeat the same process on the other side. It's very important to have good lights. Lighting it's all about the light, believe it or not. This side doesn't have the sensor on it. Let's pry this on. This is held just by a clip. And she pries right up. personally like to put the nuts or the bolts or the screws right back into place where they belong. So I don't have to sit there for hours to try to figure out what I did to them or which one was going where. So put this to the side. Once we here, remove this strip here along with this one. And right now, grab yourself a 10mm. And we're going to remove these. There's a bolt here, here, and same thing on the other side. And there should be a bolt back here as well. Yep, should be also 10mm. So here you got the sensor for the hood that tells you that the hood is open or closed. That one we're just going to leave it as is, we're just going to push it to the side for now. And this is only for the 7 series that you can do this on. Maybe on the 6, I'm not sure on the 6 or 5, but the 7 series definitely. When you do that, you create yourself so much more space by reaching, especially on cylinder 8 and 4. So, here's one bolt. Second, and this is the sensor for the hood that tells the hood when it's open, when it's closed. Mind you, I haven't disconnected anything yet. All I'm doing is I'm just preparing it. So once I get this done, my next step is going to be to unplug the battery. You can unplug the battery before this part, but to each their own. Unplugging the battery is very important because the last thing you want to do is mess with these. These carts are very electrical sensitive. And last thing you want to do is get a gazillion different codes when you start up. And then if you don't have a BMW scanning tool, then it's going to be a nightmare for you till you get all these codes cleared out, because you're going to think you're going to have a shitload of problems, which you don't. But since you can't reset with the, since you can reset the codes with the normal scanner, it's going to be not fun, because you're going to think that you did something wrong, and pretty much why do something when you don't have to. And back here, if you follow this line right here in the back, there should be torque 25, I believe, or yes, it's a torque 25 on both sides. So grab yourself a torque 30 in the back and loosen it up. Here's the size of the bolts with the torque 30. Same thing on this side. Somebody must have been in here before, so they changed. Wow, that one was pretty tight. So once you got these bolts loose, this part should come out. And this is going to create so much more space for us to pull the valve covers off and to get to the spark plug tubes and the whole, basically the whole job. Once this is done, just want to wiggle it a little bit up and down. And there she is. Look at the amount of space now we have exposed to that. Now if you don't want to lose the bolts, put them right back where they belong, where you took them out. It's going to take you about 3 extra minutes to pull the bolts back where you took them out, versus 30 minutes to look for one on which one it could be, versus to look for one of these bolts on which one it could be. So I always try to put them back. I'm just doing this so I don't have to look for the bolts when the time comes to put them back in. Just hand tightening them, starting, not even tightening them. All I'm doing is I'm just starting them. If I put that one on, it's going to be in my way on the valve cover, so I'm just going to keep it to the side. Push it down here. So when I do start working on it and lean over it, I won't affect it. There we go. So before I move any more forward in this, before I do anything else, first thing I'm going to go do is if you're working in the garage, open up your windows, because nothing is going to happen, obviously, and unplug your battery. Negative ground to unplug it. And basically, the reason why I say open up the window is just in case you need to get back in, get out, whatever, you still have access to it. You still can use the key on your key fob, but you won't be able to use the key fob alone. So everything's going to be manual, obviously. So that's why I say open up your windows, just if you want to have it do it. Otherwise, make sure your windows are open, your doors are open, it's unlocked, and unplug the battery. I'm going to unplug the battery right now. So now that we have the battery unplugged, we can move on with bigger and better things, I should say. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this intake box here, the intake by the air mass flow sensor. I already loosened this up, so with the flathead screwdriver, so this is your air mass flow sensor, and if you look at it right here, you got little clips, and that's just the cover. So all you want to do with the flathead screwdriver gently just pry it open a little bit on both sides. Don't go hardcore because you will snap it and then you just won't be protected by it. So there she is. So this sits basically like this, and this is where your wire comes out. So if you look at it right here, all you got to do is just pry these out. Just a little enough, just enough for it to unlatch. Once she's unlatched, you can open her up, and it'll be just like this. And you'll see the air mass flow sensor. And here, it's just a clip. Basically, you push on it, and she should come right out. There she is. Here you just push on this clip and she'll pull right out. I myself like to put this back in just to have it on. There we go. And it'll protect the sensor. Next, you want to loosen these clips here. And the air box, I'm sure everybody knows how to do this by now. And from here on, we'll lift this up, and she's out. So she's pretty much free now. Put that to the side. The air box just comes right off. Lovely filters. And I'm going to remove this as well, because this is going to be in my way later. I'm going to remove this as well. Just the Phillips. She'll come right out. She is. That's done. She's out of the way. The reason I pulled that out is because when I'm ready to pull the valve cover on my passenger side, I'm going to have to loosen the coolant pipe, the coolant reservoir, push it down. It's basically going to sit here. So it's kind of out of my way to get to where I need to get. So that's that. From here on now, we're going to start disconnecting the wires. All these cable harnesses that come from here. Or no, we're not going to do it. We're going to pull this PVC pipe out. I myself hate to pull them out because they're so brittle. And they squeeze and pull. And they don't always come out for me. So I'll just use these. These are about 1 inch. And I'll just grip it and pull it. See how that works. You don't want to squeeze too crazy on these pliers. You just want to have it squeezed just so you can see if you can come them up and wiggle them a little bit. Be extremely careful because they are plastic and they are very fragile. To find the right way of the right angle of putting these things in so they have pressure. I hate these connectors. and just wiggle gently. Gotta squeeze them just right in order for them to release. That's why I hate them with passion. I'm using the screwdriver to press the other side, and hopefully this side. At the same time, I'm trying to wiggle it out. Wow, this sucker is in there pretty good. Giving up is not an option. Try putting more pressure on this one from this angle. There she is. There we go. That's one. We got two more to go. That one worked like a charm. Let's see if this one will work like a charm. You got it right, and it worked like a charm. No oil. You want to be very careful with these. These are very brittle. I do suggest you to clean them up. I do suggest you to make sure that they don't have no cracks in them. One way to make sure that they have no cracks in them is clean them out, run some water through, and basically plug this hole, and use your mouth and blow on this part right here at the end, and see if you're able to leak air or not. If not, they're still good. Reuse them. If you're leaking, either fix them somehow or get new ones. So now that we got those off, we're gonna disconnect the sensors, the servos. I am gonna pull the intake manifold out as well. The reason I want to pull out the intake manifold is because I want to do the coolant pipe on it. But even if I didn't do the coolant pipe on it, I still would rather pull out the intake manifold. It'll be a lot easier to do the job. You do not have to, but it's a lot easier, in my opinion. So that's that. Hopefully, we'll try to capture anything we can. Stay tuned for a second part. So this is the passenger side, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wires that 5 sensors that need to be disconnected so that we can release this part just up front. There's another one here, 6. There's in the back 7, 8, and this one 9. All those needs to be released. So if you're looking at this here on the passenger side, the first wire on top, that goes to the thermostat. And it's just a clip. You push it on and you pull it up. So if you look at this, you push on this and you pull it up. That's all there is to this one. And once you have this off, you can just kind of have it lean it over. The second one below that one is your air mass flow sensor, which you took it off out of here. So the second one to your left, that goes all the way down here. I hope you guys. Let me bring it down here so you guys can see better. The second wire right here, that goes to your oil sensor, which from this side is a lot easier accessible. And it's same concept. It's right here. This wire right here. On the bottom it's got the metal clip. You just clip it and you pull it right out. Here she is. So once you have that pulled out, it should have another, it's connected right there, another clip. So you just want to pull it out of that clip so you free the hose. And there she is. She definitely needs to be cleaned. So now we're chasing the second one on the left, and that goes to your 2 sensors right there. There's 2 in 1 cable. See those 2 sensors right there? Same thing. They're just clips. You clip on them, you push. They're the same concept as this one. What you want to do is you want to push on them and pry them down on both of them. What I like to do is I like to use a small pry bar, and I like to push on that spring tensioner, and push them out. The first one is not really difficult to pull it out. The second one is a little further in, so that one's going to be a little trickier. But should be very simple to do. You push it in and push it out. That's for the first one. She's out. Second one, you kind of pry this against the spring, and with the second screwdriver, just push it down. she's free. So here we go. This is what we're dealing with. If you look at this here, the first one, this first one right here will go on the bottom. The second one will go on the top one. In other words, the closer one goes to the closer one, the further one, the closer one goes to the closer one, the further one goes to the further one. So this one is done. This third sensor right here, this is just, you pull it up. Let me put this away. And then the final one, that's your knocking sensor. You just pull it out and she's out. There she is. Now to go back here, you just pull. Let me see if you guys can see that. Nope. So here again, now it's just starting to get trickier, so to say. This side, we got a sensor right here that goes straight to your intake. And that one is a bit trickier to get to. It's not as easy, but 100% doable. With the flathead screwdriver, you can pry her right out. You push on it, and pull it at the same time. So this is the one right here. What I just did, it's easy enough to get down here, and all I did is I pushed down, and at the same time I pushed out. So this is the first one that goes there. She's free. The second one right here, this one right here, goes to your water pump. Again, it's just a spring, you push it down and you pull it up. You push it down, you pull it up. Right here. So you guys can see it maybe better. Push down and pull up. She's free as well. Now this second one down is connected also to this. I don't even know what the proper name for this is. But it's also got the same style. You push the spring in and you pull this out. There we go. There she is. Definitely coolant leak on the water pipe needs to be replaced 100%. Show you guys in a second. Just noticed coolant dropping down and caught my attention. So back to this. This is the second one that goes straight to this. It's also a secondary, I don't know what the proper name is, but it's got to do with how much oxygen is going through it. So also goes to the intake. Now, this fourth one here, this one right here, not the first one on top, but below this one, goes to the two sensors. Same as the other side. There's two sensors in one cable. So same thing, we're just going to push the spring in. This side is a lot easier to get to. And we're going to push it with the screwdriver down. While I'm holding the spring in, I'm trying to pry this out. And it should come right out, yep. Same thing on the bottom. I think pry bar works a lot easier with this one. gently, and she is out. Here we go. So again, on the passenger side, on the driver's side, excuse me, on the driver's side, the smaller one goes to the closest one, which this one now on this side would be the top, and this one would be on the bottom because it's longer. So she's free as well. And we got the last one, which goes to the alternator. And that one, you definitely have to use something long because it's not as easy to get to. Am I going to be able to? Yes, I should be able to. So the last one goes straight to the alternator. And it's, let's see if we can get a good picture right there. Now what I'm going to do is, with this long pry bar, I'm going to push on it and right here. Where did it go? There we go. It's too dark. Let's see if we can make it better lighting. There's the sensor. There's my crowbar, pry bar. So somehow I'm gonna try to. It doesn't work. Now I'm gonna try to somehow wiggle my fingers in there and try to pull on it. Maybe if I use a smaller pry bar from this angle. Oh yeah. So with one pry bar, I'm gonna get it from this angle. It's pretty hard to get the pure view, but I hope you guys understand the concept of it. So with one pry bar, I'm gonna pull on this. I'm gonna push the sensor, the clip in, and with the other pry bar, I'm gonna try to wiggle her out. So, but I need two hands for that. So let me see if I can somehow manage to show you guys. Not sure if I'm gonna be able to, but I'm gonna try my best. So since I can't show you guys the full way on how to do it, I'm gonna try to be creative so you guys see how I went about it. So I'm just gonna push this cable out of this clip here real quick. There we go. With this pry bar, I'm gonna put pressure on it. And with the other pry bar, I'm gonna try to wiggle her out. See if I can get the pry bar in. BMW classic, never fails. Let's try this one now. This one is the worst to get to. I'm going to try to figure out a different way. Always fighting for space. Never fails with BMW. God forbid BMW does anything to create space. Oh, because somebody was in here before. Lovely. They grabbed the alternator cable and wrapped it on top of it. Well, I guess we're going to have to get back to that one. One last thing I want to show you guys quickly is the coolant leak. In case you ever wondered, how do I know if my pipe is leaking? You see that wet spot right there? See that small little hole? That's where it's leaking from. So that's why I want to take the intake manifold out as well. So if you look down there, there's my light. Look at the puddle. She's dripping. See that? So she's making her way up, down, all the way, and then she's dripping. This is, ladies and gentlemen, a neglected BMW that I picked up and trying to bring it back to life. Stay tuned, and I'm gonna figure out an easier way to pull that bracket out. But what the owners did, for whatever reason, is they decided to grab the alternator cable, which goes right here from the back of your starter all the way down to here, and in the back of it they wrapped the cable right there. See the small cable? It goes under that big cable right there. They wrapped it around it, so realistically I have no space to kind of pull it around. But since I'm gonna do the alternator, the coolant pipe, I'm gonna drain out all the coolant. I'm gonna make a separate video for that so you guys know how to drain the coolant. For anybody that doesn't know, on your passenger side, just come down here, find this part right here, which that's for your air condition, and you'll see the plug right here for the radiator. And if you go straight down, follow the radiator, see that red little cap? Sometimes they're red, sometimes they're yellow. All you got to do is open that up and make sure you have something underneath there, and that'll drain the whole coolant system out of there. That's that. We will try to make as many as detailed as possible videos with zero editing, just so that you guys know exactly, in case you run into issues, you can come back and relate to this video and continue moving on with it. Hopefully this video will help you guys out there.